me tell you a little bit about my definition of the womanly art of inviting abundance. Um, it's basically women have the ability, because of our having 8,000 nerve endings dedicated to pleasure, we have this very unique operational system to draw in or attract what it is we want. So the art of inviting abundance is using that power. Like we can pay to play, right? We can pay to go, anything everywhere we can afford. We pay to go, whatever, to the movies or to the opera, or we pay to go to a holiday or vacation or whatever. But then there's this other thing that we do, which is we can conjure, we can create, we can attract, and we create with our thoughts, our imagination. We can allow ourselves to create and attract the life or the lifestyle, the financial rewards that we desire and deserve. How? By allowing our enthusiasm to be unleashed rather than our limitations. And you all know this from the Billie Holiday song, for them that have, more shall be given, for those that have not, more shall be taken away. It was from the New Testament, actually. And inviting abundance is a paradigm shift. I mean, raise your hand. This is just like, if you've ever had an experience come to you that was even better than anything you could have designed for yourself. Maybe you met a person at a particular time that you never could have met, or you got offered for a work or situation, or an experience that was so much greater than anything you could have dreamed, and it was just like, it made you go, wow, because you couldn't have made it. It was your power to attract created that. Okay. Sometimes it seems that there's forces that conspire to somehow alter our future in a drastic way, and then sometimes these things can be perceived as negative. For example, the pandemic could be perceived of as negative, and yet I know there's some of you who've had dramatic up-levelings in your lifestyle as a result of the pandemic. So what I wanted to do was take a little time today to unpack how that power works. I'll give you an example of it in my own life last week. So I've been working through this. I feel like there's this contribution that I have to make to women that I want to make open to all women, and it will impact sister goddess activism in the world, which is I'm doing the sisterhood series on Wednesday, and it's been very hard for me to put into words my belief system around when you give women the chance to break open and grieve and rage and fall to their knees and then turn that on erotically, it empowers women into a place of action. And so I've been kind of struggling and figuring it out, and how does that apply to climate and Roe v. Wade. Finally, I feel it took me 4 days to write the blog that I launched last week, and I felt so proud of it. And then only about 20 people cared about it on Instagram, so I was like, oh well. But then, because of the power of desire and the power of attraction, I got a call from 2020. One of the producers had seen that blog, and now I'm going to be interviewed by 2020 about Roe v. Wade. So you just never know how that power is going to work, or what you're going to call in, even when at first it seems like very little or nothing. So that's kind of a design of womanly art of attracting or inviting abundance. And so how do we find our way in this art? Well, first you have to live as if. You have to live as if you were already, in my case, it was like, no, I'm a valuable voice in the world. Though no one read the blog. Okay, I lived as if. And maybe for you, it's writing a book, or you're an artist, or you're a poet, or a CEO. You live as if those dreams are already taking place, and you live with a turned on pussy. And then you become clear. Well, you have to start by becoming clear about what you want to create, and you can spend time each day wallowing in your desires. And you must be in pleasure in order to wallow in your desires. Like, you can't be there judging, saying, well, I've never had, I haven't had a lover in years. There's no way I'm going to have a lover because I'm not really good with lovers, because no, that's not the way you do it. You're like, I'm going to have a lover. It's going to be so hot. I'm going to be so turned on. I'm going to be wearing lingerie, whatever. You live in that pleasure with no timeline, savoring and salivating as you imagine. You can make desire lists. You can rip out photos from magazines and make a desire board. I like to experiment with small things that prove to me that I'm in flow, like breaking up traffic patterns or finding parking spots. And don't worry if you feel jealous of others, because envy is just a sign that something you desire is on its way to you. And you cannot be a bystander on this, right? I couldn't have just sat at home dreaming about sister goddess activism and women standing and sistering as we move through these crises of our time. I had to do the work of writing the blog, publishing the blog, telling my friends about my dreams. You can't be a bystander. And how do you know you've mastered it? You know you've mastered it because you're willing to always be playing games around your powers of conjuring, like that you always look at the clock when it's 11:11. Or you, I don't know, those little kind of game, like that somebody calls us and we've been thinking of them. Then we know we're like in this place of flow. Also that if you want to create wealth, you already have a savings account. I don't care if you put $1 in a month, but you've got a place for your funds. You're just happier because ultimately you're going to get your way, and that everything is leading to you getting your way, no matter what it looks like now. You live in a lot of gratitude. You celebrate when others have great accomplishments, and you live richly within your means. You feel like a princess, even on a shoestring budget. And you're continually curious about your appetite or your desires for the day or for the moment. And you're willing to be surprised by the stuff you long for. And you ask for what you want in all situations, knowing that everyone around you is willing to give it to you. You live as if you're about to get it. And you take risks. You treat yourself magnificently. You're generous to others with acts of service, with charitable contributions from your surplus. You put yourself in proximity to what it is you want. And even when your dreams blow up right before your eyes, you're about to get something even better.